everyone, this is Denai. Today we're going to talk about one of the top 3 famous Japanese demons, Sarakazoe.
Legend said, the only daughter of a big merchant. In the Edo period, Kiku lost everything in the fire. She had to work as a maid in the house of a samurai. Motonobu Ekasa, Kiku was a beautiful and intelligent woman from a big family. She and Motonobu are in love with each other and are destined to be together for the rest of their lives. During the Aisho period, the 9th Lord of Himeji Castle, Aoyama Tetsuyama, a vassal of the 9th Lord of Himeji Castle, Kodera Norinaga, Aoyama Tetsuyama attempted to usurp the throne. When Motonobu discovers this, in order to gather evidence, he decided to send Kiku to work as a servant. In Aoyama's house, Kiku soon gained the trust of the Aoyama family and learned that the Aoyama family was planning to poison Koji Zetsubun at a flower banquet in Zenitsuyama. Kiku asked someone to send a message to Motonobu Ekasa. Motonobu receives the message and rushes to the flower viewing banquet to rescue the lord of the castle. He escapes to his home island in the Sato Inland Sea. Looking for a chance to rise again, Aoyama failed to kill him. He still controls Himeji Castle for the time being, in order to keep track of Aoyama's movements. Kiku did not follow him out of the city, but stayed inside. Aoyama, who has failed in his plot, knows that there is an informer in his family. He ordered his retainer, Bancho, to investigate the matter. It was not long before Bancho found out that the informer was none other than Kiku. Bancho, who had long been jealous of Kiku's beauty, took the opportunity to threaten Kiku if she agreed to be his wife. He would not tell who the informer was. When Kiku did not agree, he took revenge. Bancho hides one of a set of 10 Aoyama's family heirloom plate, which is managed by Kiku. He hides one of them and accuses Kiku of stealing Aoyama's family plate. He also ties Kiku to a pine tree in the courtyard. In a fit of rage, Aoyama chopped up Kiku and threw her into a well. Every night after that, the sound of Kiku counting plates, one by one while crying, would drift from the well. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. When she reached the 9th, she began to cry pitifully. Then she would start the counting process all over again. Bancho was so shocked that he fell ill. Later, Motonobu Ekasa gathered his army and Kodera's retainers and returned to Himeji Castle. Aoyama and his men were successfully eliminated. Himeji Castle was finally returned to Kodera. Kodera hears about the murder of Kiku, the woman who had been instrumental in the counter-insurgency. In order to commemorate her, Kodera enshrines her as a god. The shrine was placed in one of the 12 shrines near Himeji Castle. It is said that among the 12 shrines, Kiku was enshrined as the daimyojin of Kiku. About 300 years later, a large number of strange bugs appeared under the castle. They were called Kiku worms. Legend has it that these bugs were transformed by Kiku and returned to the human world. Under Himeji Castle's Hanmaru, there is still an old well called Kiku's Well. People sympathized with Kiku and feared her spirit. They made up a song to pray for her. The most representative of the legend of Kiku is the Edo period's Bonmochi Sarakazoe. The story goes like this. Kiku was a servant girl of the Aoyama family. The master of the Aoyama family, Lord Aoyama, was a samurai who was responsible for maintaining the peace and tranquility of the area. The Aoyama family will hold a New Year's banquet. The master of the family has told the people that he will bring out the ancestral plates and use them. He even told everyone that the plates were of great value. At that time, Master Aoyama was fond of Kiku, and he said many times that he wanted to marry her as his wife. However, she refused his proposal to her. The master of the house, who could not get enough of her, began to change his love for her to hateness. On the day of the New Year banquet, a cat ran into the kitchen because of the smell. Kiku got scared by the cat and accidentally breaks a plate. When the host learns of this, he goes on a rampage and beats her up endlessly. On the one hand, he has lost his ancestral treasure, and on the other hand, he has a grudge against Kiku. Out of resentment towards her, he drew his sword with one hand and grabbed Kiku's hand with the other, and he said, "If one of the 10 plates is missing, you can pay for it with one of your fingers." Then he cut off the middle finger of Kiku's right hand and locked her up in a hut. In the middle of the night, Kiku woke up from her coma, and being dissatisfied with her humiliation, she climbed out of the hut and decided to suicide. She jumped into the well in the courtyard of the castle peak house and killed herself. But the master of the house spread a rumor that Kiku had stolen something from his house and escaped. After that day, strange things began to happen. Some servants saw Kiku climbing out of the well at night. She would count her fingers intently. 1, 2, 3. Every night, the sound of Kiku counting plates would come out of the well. 1, 2, 3. When she reaches the 9th one, she starts to cry and says, "Is there one missing?" Then she would start all over again, counting the plates. When the master of Aoyama heard about this, he came to the well and looked into the well and saw a pale face. Kiku, who was bleeding from the mouth, kept counting the plates. Strangely enough, the wife of the master of Aoyama and the other maids of honor were beside him, but none of them saw the ghost of Kiku. When she reached the 9th plate, her eyes drifted towards him, and she said quietly, "Sir, there is still one more plate missing." The host couldn't stand it, so he took a knife and chopped at Kiku's ghost. Then he realized that it wasn't Kiku, but his own wife, who was lying in a pool of blood. At that moment, the ghost of Kiku reappeared in front of the master of Aoyama again. She mumbled, "There's still one more plate missing." When Master Aoyama saw this, he was in a state of remorse. He had no choice but to ask a priest to come and beg for forgiveness from Kiku's ghost. When the priest saw her counting the plates to the 9th, he said the 10th. The ghost of Kiku said, "That's great. Then she can finally rest in peace." There is also a story that the master of Aoyama was so shocked that he ran out of the house in a frenzy. The story was so well publicized that a monk came here. A monk came to the well and saw the ghost of Kiku. The monks reassembled the broken plates and brought back Kiku's ghost and told her, "Kiku, look, this is the 10th plate. Please rest in peace." When she saw the 10th plate, her face regained its color and her mouth stopped bleeding. Kiku said, "I'm so happy. All 10 plates are here." Then she smiled and gradually disappeared. As Kiku's soul gradually disappeared, suddenly, a scent enveloped the entire garden. Countless pupae on the ground instantly broke out of their cocoons and turned into black butterflies and flew away.
Sarakazoe.
Even the emperor knew about Kiku's incident of counting plates, so he made the order to the owner of Kiku to be severely punished. Finally, this villain, who had been killing civilians, died of poverty and illness. The legend of Kiku, who counts the plates, is very famous. The ruins of Kiku Daimujin in Koma City, Fukuoka Prefecture. It is said to be the well where Kiku committed suicide, and the hall where her spirit is worshipped. The locals said that by worshipping Kiku Daimujin, one can be cured of all diseases from the waist down. There are 51 places in Japan that have legends similar to those of Kiku. Among them, the one in Shiga Prefecture is not a legend but a true story. In Shiga Prefecture, a jiku also works as a domestic helper. The owner of the house, Masanoshin, whose parents died when he was young, was about the same age as Kiku. Masanoshin and Kiku are of similar age, and they fall in love with each other. Despite their love, he cites the fact that his parents had already decided on a match for him before their death, and the difference in their identities, he refuses to marry Kiku. Kiku suspects that Masanoshin is lying to her in order to find out Masanoshin's intention. She breaks a precious plate at home, which is of great significance. It was a plate given to Inui no Masa by Tokugawa Ieyasu. After the Battle of Sekigahara, during the battle against the Toyotomi family in Summer Osaka, the Inui family gave this plate to Masanoshin's ancestor, and it was passed down from generation to generation. Masanoshin is furious that his love for Jiku is being doubted. He broke the 9 remaining plates with the saddle of his sword in front of Kiku, then killed his beloved Kiku. Afterwards, Masanoshin did not marry anyone else and regretted killing Kiku. He became a monk in remorse and continued to think about her for the rest of his life. After her death, the broken plates and her grave are now in Chokyuji Temple in Shiga Prefecture. In ancient times, in Otsu Hakamachi, there was a fireball-like object flying in the air. According to the local people, there was an oil seller in the village of Shiga. The oil he sold was stolen every night from the Jizo Bodhisattva in Otsuji. Soon after, the oil seller died. He was punished by Jizo Bodhisattva. Even more sadly, the oil seller died without being able to be reborn. He became a fireball that lost its way and wandered around. Later, a strange thing happened to a family in the neighborhood. Their child used to lick the oil from the lamp. People said that the child must be the reincarnation of the oil seller. However, there was another story spreading in the area. It was said that a fire-like object had flown into the family, and after licking the oil from the lamp, it turned into a ball of fire and flew away. The local people called this demon a Burakago. That is to say, the Burakago is a demon transformed from an old oil lamp. It usually appears in the form of a fireball. It has been seen in Shiga Prefecture and the Tohoku region of Japan. It doesn't harm humans or cause fires, but it likes to come out at night when the lamps are out. However, it likes to lick the oil left in the lamps at night. When the lamps are turned off, they usually appear in the form of small fireballs and fly into the interior of houses. They can get into even the smallest gaps and then turn into small children. After licking the oil, they return to their fireball form and fly out of the window. In the old days, the oil lamps used in the countryside used to be filled with fish oil, and fish oil is what cats like. So if a cat licked the lamp oil, it's possible that the cat would be seen as a fish oil licker. In the old days, fish oil was not refined, and it was usually used to light lamps directly from the fish oil that the fishermen had saved up. It's not surprising that this attracted greedy cats. However, with the popularity of electric lamps, the Burakago gradually disappeared, and it can be regarded as an endangered monster. So I think it's quite worthwhile for us to get to know it. That's all for today's stories. See you next time.